What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Inside the Horseshoe Podcast. I'm Matt. I got Alec over here next to me. Alec, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Excited to talk some football after a crazy 3 weeks so far.
Absolutely. And I figured I'd pull up your name real quick, just for a minute.
It's nice while it lasted.
Yeah. Look, we're sorry we couldn't take care of business to at least get you tied for first. But no, the Mills dynasty couldn't quite take off like we thought it was going to. So now it's just a matter of will Tyrod Taylor come back anytime soon and change how the season's going.
Yeah, we talk about the Texans. I have some words about them.
Oh, yeah.
Something to look forward to.
Right. Well, I figured today, because there really isn't a whole lot to talk about news-wise. There's nothing like crazy that really happened. We just talk football in general, just anything that's really in the news. You know, I figured none of it was really worthy of being part of the title. So, yeah, we'll get into some of it. I'm going to get to the comments real quick. Big Play Slay is in the house. How you doing? Thank you. I figured it was time to get a new camera, and I saw this Elgato face cam, and it was getting really good reviews, and I saw some people tweaking with it, and you know, it's not 100% like the DLSR cameras, or however you want to say it, but it's pretty close. You know, once you kind of adjust it, I just got to get a little better lighting, and once I do that, I feel like the camera is gonna definitely show what it can do on these streams. And then Al Foxy came in. He's saying, "What's up, everyone? How you doing, Foxy? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day." So I figured we start talking about the news that broke earlier today with Richard Sherman. He is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't know all the details on the contract, but he is joining a really good Tampa Bay team that just came off of a loss this past weekend. Alec, what are your thoughts on this move?
I guess it's surprising because the names that are involved, Tom Brady, Richard Sherman. That's why it's odd, but it makes complete sense. When you're on your last legs trying to get a championship, why not go to the team that's favored and surprisingly I feel like needed help on the defensive end this year. They have given up a decent amount of points this year, and the secondary being the biggest weakness I feel for the Bucs. So I mean, he could bring something. Maybe he has a little bit left inside the tank, or just a presence in the locker room for some of that young secondary.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely going to improve the secondary for sure. I know there's some stuff in the offseason that happened, but I don't think that's whatever happened in the offseason dictates the type of person he is. He seems like a good dude. He just, I don't know. We don't know all the details, so I don't want to, criticize him 100% for that, because it definitely was a sticky situation with, I believe it was his wife's dad.
Yeah, something like that. Like, it didn't look good.
Yeah, it didn't look good for him, but, I'm glad that he's at least a part of a team now. It's nice to see that he's at least somewhere working, and, we'll find out. I guess as the year goes on, if that was just a one-time thing or if anything else spirals out of control, but we'll find out. And then Al Foxy says the team is getting more overpowered. Yeah, they're just getting better and better, like they're better than they were last year when they won the Super Bowl.
And look, thing is, I feel like they're better at least on the offensive end, but like, I don't know, like the defense is, I don't know, it's kind of been kind of lackluster for me. So I think they really needed Richard Sherman.
Yeah, I think it's been a little lackluster too. I think, they needed a little bit of time to kind of get back into the groove. They're not used to winning the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. So
also, after how badly Matthew Stafford kind of picked them apart in the air, I mean, how do you not want to try and get a little better, knowing that he's now on a really good team, because we all know how good Matthew Stafford is.
True. Yeah.
Killing it this year too.
Right. So he's having a pretty good year. There's only one team that gave them a scare this year, It's a team that's not really doing all that great right now by record. But hey, they gave a scare to the Rams, and they're not at their best. So Who knows what the future will hold for that specific team? Maybe they'll go on a 14-game run. We'll find out. And then we got Jonathan Peck stopping by, the Indianapolis Colt hater, as I call him. Just kidding, of course. Hey, how you doing, man? And he says, also due to the injuries in the corners. True.
That's true.
They are dealing with some injuries there, but I think obviously adding Richard Sherman's going to improve that team, and when they get fully healthy in that secondary, and when that defense gets clicking again, it's gonna be tough. I don't think he's going to be available for this week, though, because I think it's pretty late for him, even if he was vaccinated, to join and actually, have a good handle as far as the plays and whatnot.
Yeah,
so I think we're going to have to wait a week. Yeah. So, and honestly, with the team they're playing this week, I don't think they necessarily need him right away. They probably could wait the following week.
That's mostly a big Tom Brady show. The defense probably won't even be on the field that much.
True. Yeah, that's probably what it's going to be. But now next week, I don't even know who they play next week, but he'll be back by next week for sure. And they're going to be rocking and rolling. I can actually pull that up real quick. But yeah, great move for Tampa Bay. Definitely is helping them out a lot. It's going to add to them. And they play the Dolphins. So, that'd be a good game to get Richard Sherman involved in. Would be the Dolphins. Just kind of get him used to the system, because it's probably going to take him a little bit, before he's like fully used to it. So we'll find out, of course. I do want to talk about something that broke yesterday. Jonathan, of course, shared the news with us. The Chicago Bears, they have bought the Arlington Heights Racecourse. I believe it's Arlington International Racecourse. That was obviously something that was rumored to happen for a while now, that they were potentially going to get a new stadium and no longer have Soldier Field, which is really surprising. I thought they would have at least renovated Soldier Field if they felt like it was time to move on. Yeah. Because, Soldier Field is iconic for them, and it's it's iconic NFL stadium in general. So what are your thoughts just on that? Is this something that surprised you? Were you expecting it? Just what's going through your mind on this?
Yeah, it is kind of surprising. And I didn't even realize that they were in the market for for making a new stadium. But it is kind of surprising because, like you said, Soldier Field is iconic. That's a football staple. So to see them, instead of renovating, going with the new stadium, maybe they're trying to get in some new look Bears. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just really confused me. At least they're staying in Chicago, in that area. At least they're not moving to Austin like another team potentially could if stuff doesn't get taken care of. But I don't know. Hopefully somebody buys Soldier Field from the Bears and uses it for something. I don't really want to see them tear it down per se.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to kind of still have that for concerts or just anything in general. Stand-up specials. I know Notre Dame played there on Saturday, and it was cool to see them play Wisconsin there. Just getting that whole feel. It's just something about Soldier Field that really does add to it. Speaking of Notre Dame, going to be at that Cincinnati game, so watching future Indianapolis Colt Kyle Hamilton on Saturday. At this top rate. 10 matchup. At this rate, yeah. We'll see. Maybe he can play corner. Or somebody. Maybe Kari Willis could play corner.
I need him over here. Need him in Houston.
We need him more.
This backfield.
we need this. We need our. Trust me. We need our backfield. We need to get help with our backfield for sure, because Xavier Rhodes is going to be gone soon, and we don't like what we see without Xavier Rhodes on the field. So, let's get Kyle Hamilton and move one of our safeties to corner. Probably Willis. Let's move him to corner. I think he'd do good. But no, besides that, just joking around with that. Soldier Field, though, it's an iconic stadium. It's an iconic place. I really do hope they don't tear it down, though.
Yeah.
That's something I really hope doesn't happen. But I'll go to the comments real quick. It's Al Fox says it's not going to make the Bears better moving, which is true.
Not much they can right now.
Yeah, there's not much they can do. But there is something they could do potentially to get better, and that is firing Matt Nagy. And, ESPN's calling for it. Dan Orlovsky was calling for it on the show. Rex Ryan was calling for it on the show, saying, listen, this was the worst, game plan you could have had for Justin Fields. You basically just threw him out there to make him look worse than Andy Dalton, which Andy Dalton's not a bad quarterback by any means, but yeah, it just seemed weird. So now there's rumors going around that there could be a possibility that if the Bears lose to the Lions, Matt Nagy is going to get fired. I'll kind of give my thoughts on that real quick, and then I'll go to you. But I'll pull up Jonathan's comment real quick. It says the main flaw with Soldier Field in general is in their first renovation of Soldier Field was panned by everybody compared to Lambeau Field's renovations. True, but I don't know. They could have renovated it a little more, just adjusted it, and then it could have potentially helped. And then he says also possibly a Super Bowl in Chicago in the future or a future WrestleMania event. Yeah. I mean, just have it for events, whether it's a Super Bowl or WrestleMania or concerts, anything, stand-up specials, and Inside the Horseshoe Live, anything they could save it for. But no, odds are they're going to tear it down. They're not going to sell it. They're not going to keep it to make money off of it. They're just going to get rid of it. Most teams will do that, but I don't know. Maybe they'll keep it because they're technically not tearing it down and building a new stadium, from the ground up. So, I mean, they are at Arlington Racecourse, but at least not in that spot. They're not building a new one. So I don't know. It just seemed a little weird to me. But Matt Nagy, I actually want to get your thoughts first before I get to mine. Do you think Matt Nagy is going to get fired after the Lions game, assuming they lose?
I think, that's probably the most likely route that will come of that if they lose to the Lions. I know the Lions are very close to getting their first win, but they're still that bad of a team. The Lions, the Jets, and the Jags. Sorry. Jags, yeah. Yeah, they're all kind of racing for the number one pick. Texans not far behind them. But
neither is Indy.
Yeah, so
right there.
If the Bears lose as badly as they have in these in last week, and if it's a pretty bad loss to the Lions, it's very likely that Matt Nagy is going to be gone. And I think that's kind of that might be the reason that they drafted Justin Fields, because I believe that Matt Nagy didn't okay the trade for Justin Fields. The GM jumped on it because he saw how good of a deal it was. So the new quarterback isn't what he wants. He kind of seems like he's not very good at game planning for this guy that the GM has a lot of love in. Yeah. This might have been already in the works, honestly. Maybe Matt Nagy just kind of sped up the process of moving on from him.
So I don't think he's going to get fired if they lose to the Lions, because I don't see. And I mean, you fire Matt Nagy in week 4, you're pretty much at that point giving up the season. That's how I see it. You're like, we won a game, and I guess it's possible to make the playoffs still, but. But if they lose, I don't see Matt Nagy getting fired. Reason being is I just don't think there's really anybody they can go after that would help the team, because if they lose, they're technically not out of the playoffs yet. They could still make a run. It's going to be difficult because, you have the Cardinals and the Rams. They're battling for the lead in the NFC West. Yeah. And, Cowboys are surprising some people. And then there's going to be other teams that probably are going to have really good records that aren't going to win their divisions. But I just don't see any options available. Why would you hire, I guess, one of your coordinators to be the head coach right now?
I can throw out a name that I wouldn't mind seeing as a possible replacement. Joe Brady. What Joe Brady's done over there in Carolina, man. I think that's someone.
I think Joe Brady would be good too. But honestly, how I think it's going to go is...
Oh, Jonathan put something interesting.
And then Jonathan says,
if the Bears suck in the rest of the season, their first round pick belongs to the Giants. I did forget that.
You're forfeiting your first round pick for last year and this year's upcoming years, plus a second.
So do they not even have a first round pick this year?
I don't think so.
Or is it one of those like if they lose a certain amount of games?
No, I think it's. I don't think there were any. I don't think there was any stipulations to it.
So the Bears traded the 21 first round pick, and the 22. Okay, so they won't have the 4th round or the 1st round pick this year. So okay, so the Giants are hoping that Matt Nagy gets fired because at that point they're not going to win many games. And honestly, I don't think they're going to win many games either. But I just don't see really a replacement. And honestly, what I would do is I'd wait till the end of the year, then fire Matt Nagy, and then fire Ryan Pace. I believe those two have to go together, GM, coach, because the GM has made so many mistakes already as is. I don't think just getting Justin Fields is going to save the day. If they have a bad year, regardless, I think they're both out. So, if I'm, Chicago, I would just keep Matt Nagy, just keep him in there. I don't know, maybe start Andy Dalton for a few more games and try to get some trade value from him. And then, go from there. But to me, I'd keep Matt Nagy for this year, get rid of him next year. That's just kind of how I see it. I wouldn't blame the Bears that they fired Matt Nagy. And honestly, I do believe the rumors could potentially be true that Matt Nagy's on his way out if they lose to the Lions. And that's very possible to happen. So I don't know. We'll find out. I don't know. I just never been a fan of firing a coach partway through a season.
Yeah, I get it.
Because you just never know what could happen. Something could happen, and they could go on a run. I mean, the Colts, they started 1-5. They made the playoffs. So, I don't know, maybe the Bears, they start 1-3, and then they make the playoffs. Because, I mean, if you go to the, NFC, standings right now, I don't think there's a lot of teams really that are that much better. Because, I mean, you look at, teams that aren't first in their division, right? You have the Cardinals, Rams, they're tied for first.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody else outside of the Bucks and Saints are 1-2 or 0-3. So it's not like, the season's completely over. Yeah, the Bucks, Saints, they're 2-1 right now. It looks like both of them could make it. I mean, the Cardinals or Rams, it looks like one of them's going to make it. And 49ers are 2-1 as well.
Yeah.
But, really, I mean, there's a chance they could still make it. They just got to go on a run. I think if you're going to fire him at some point this year, let's wait until, week 10 and then fire him. But he needs to be on the hot seat because that game plan that was made for Justin Fields was absolutely terrible.
He almost got that kid killed, man.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe he was trying to make Andy Dalton look better, but I don't know.
That was the rumors. Those were the rumors.
True, but hey, he's not the only coach that thinks that some experience is better than no experience. Jonathan says that Brian Diable, Bills are Eric Bieniemy or one of Sean McVay's coaches.
I don't remember what coordinator he is. I can't remember if he's offensive or defensive. But every year, Bieniemy is a candidate, and now I'm starting to think that maybe it's more a him thing than a team's thing. Maybe the team, all the teams that have interviewed him and not hired him, maybe they just didn't see something. I don't know. It's weird because he's been a name that's been thrown out for the past 2-3 years.
Yeah,
as possibly being a head coach, and every year he gets interviews and never. He's like the Mark Jackson of the NFL right now. So. And,
he's a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He is. And honestly, he should have a job at some point. That's how I see it.
I'm wondering if there's some leadership issues. They know that he's really good on offense, but maybe there's a leadership thing because I don't know. It's just really weird that he's never hired. And he probably interviews with the majority of the teams that are in the bottom 10, I know the Texans interviewed him and after that, they heard the interview, and apparently it was a no-go for them.
Right.
And we ended up with David Culley, which I'm happy with. I'm happy with David Culley.
Right. And I know there's some people out there who say, "Oh, it's because Eric Bieniemy is not white." And okay, yeah, there's probably some
It's possible, man.
teams that are like that, sure. But I mean, Houston interviewed him, like you said, and
Yeah, hired David
I
Culley.
mean, I thought David Culley was, not white,
He is African American.
He's an African American man, just like Eric Bieniemy. So I don't think it's just because of that. I don't know what it is either. Maybe some people think it's Andy Reid that's doing it. Or maybe he's the one calling it, or it's just, Patrick Mahomes is such a great quarterback, so that's why they're great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I do think he's going to get hired eventually. I think I could see the Bears hiring him.
Yeah.
For sure. I think the Bears might go after him. I could see another team that might be in need of a coach soon going after Eric Bieniemy too, because he's a good coach. He should be a head coach. I don't know why.
That's one thing I love about the Texans is I feel like we finally have our coach. Like, and I feel like that's besides the quarterback, that's probably one of the hardest things to find when you're rebuilding.
Right.
So to know that we kind of have that out the way, we can just focus on finding a quarterback now. Because when you have a bad coach year after year, man, it gets rough.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But I do want to go to one more thing before we move on to our predictions. Let's talk about Carson Wentz. So Carson Wentz didn't look all that great against the Titans. Has the 2 ankle sprains, which took away his mobility. I honestly think, just seeing how he played in that game, I don't think he should have played against the Titans. I think, honestly, he should have sat out. They should have went with Jacob Eason, not with Brett Hundley. And I know Frank Reich says Brett Hundley is the backup because of experience. But Brett Hundley has been in the league for now 5 years.
Yeah.
Brett Hundley has played, 10 games in total? He is under 500 as a starter. He has like a 50-something% completion percentage. He's not really that mobile. Like, he's more mobile than Jacob Eason, sure.
Yeah.
But he's not.
He's never been known for being a mobile quarterback. He's
not like a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson. He's not one of those quarterbacks.
Yeah.
He's Brett Hundley. He has not had a good career as a backup.
Yeah.
Kevin Bowen on the morning show, how he described it was best. He's not a Matt Hasselbeck type of quarterback, or he could be that backup. He's a Scott Tolzien, Curtis Painter type of backup that can't really do anything. So I don't understand why. And, I thought it was funny. I think it was Greg Doyle in the interview today with Frank Reich. He said during the interview, you say that, Brett Hundley's your backup because of experience. Well, the experience is not good. So why go with him? And it's true. Like, honestly, you eventually got to take a shot on Jacob Eason if Carson Wentz is going to play. You just have to. You got to know what he's going to be able to do with a full week of practice in an actual NFL game, not in a preseason game, but in an NFL game. You have to know eventually. And then that also tells me with Jacob Eason, are we confident in him or are we just not confident? What happens with Sam Ehlinger returns? Like, are we going to have Sam Ehlinger on the practice squad or are we going to move Jacob Eason to the practice squad? It's like, heck, Brett Hundley got cut initially, and that was before you put Sam Ehlinger on the IR. So he wasn't even going to be on the team. So with that being said, Carson Wentz goes in. You take away his mobility because of the ankle sprains, and that's a huge part of his game plan, and it made him look uncomfortable in the game, and it didn't help him. It made him look bad in a sense. Like, he didn't have a horrible game, but he didn't look all that great. So now they're playing against Miami this week, which we'll give our predictions in just a little bit. I'm going to say this right now. If Carson Wentz looks about the same as what he looked like in week 3, as far as his ankles, if he can't really move around, if he's not mobile, if it's really affecting him in that way, you have to sit Carson Wentz, is my opinion. You have to sit him. You have to go Jacob Eason
Don't go Brett Hundley, because if you go Brett Hundley, we're going to lose. If you go Jacob Eason, I do believe with some, getting used to the, O-line, or not O-line, the offense, getting used to the game plan, all that stuff, just getting used to everybody. I think Jacob Eason's the better option to go. I think you sit Carson Wentz if the ankles are that bad. Apparently, he might have re-aggravated his ankle sprain. So, to me, I think you got to sit Carson Wentz. I do want to go to you, Alec. If you are Frank Reich, are you starting Carson Wentz? And he practiced today. He was limited in practice today. If he looks about the same with his ankles, do you start Carson or do you go with one of your backups?
I think you got to go with the backup, man. Like you said, he might have re-aggravated that injury, and that's the risk of rushing somebody back and not letting them properly heal. So I think you got to start Carson Wentz. I mean, you got to start Jacob Eason or Brett Hundley, but I think the clear name should be Jacob Eason. Let's see what he's got. And against the Miami Dolphins team that I think is kind of disappointed on the defensive end too. There's been a couple of defensive kind of just like shocks this year with teams that we thought were going to be really good defenses, and one of them I think was the Dolphins, and they don't look good. They don't look so good on defense.
Right.
So why not put him up against this team, against the Dolphins? Let's see what he's got. See what the kids got. Utilize the run game a lot better than they did this past week. You got three really good to almost great running backs over there with Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack, and Nyheim Hines, backing them up. So I don't know, man. Like,
right.
I think you gotta start him. Like, it's just let's see what the kids got.
Yeah, and honestly, Marlon Mack's not going to play. And the reason why he didn't play, and I'll probably make a video when this officially happens, is he asked for a trade and they agreed to trade him because, I think he wants to go somewhere to prove himself. Yeah, you're not starting over Taylor. You're getting Hines is, very dynamic.
Solid backup.
Backup, like a really good backup. But to me, again, I'm thinking about the future in a sense. And I remember some people saying, no, you got to go Carson Wentz. He's better than Jacob Eason, even if he's hurt. And it's like, yeah, I mean, he might be like at throwing the football, but you got to think about the future. You can't think about right now. Yes, I know we're 0-3. Yes, that's not a great start for us. It definitely isn't. We haven't been 0-3 for a decade. We don't normally go through these things. But you have to think about the end of the year. You have to think about next year and years after that. With how this offensive line is performing right now with the injuries. Because Braden Smith is probably not going to play this week. Quentin Nelson might not play this week. Eric Fisher's going to play. He's getting fully healthy. And even he allowed a couple of sacks against the Titans. I think you go Jacob Eason. Let Carson rest. Let his ankles, get better. And then after like week 9, put him back in if he's fully healthy, or even earlier if he's fully healthy. The good thing about after week 5 is outside of the 49ers, the Colts are entering a easier part of the schedule. So if they can come away with the win against Miami, even if they lose to Baltimore and the 49ers, they play 49ers, I believe, week 7. They play Houston, they play Tennessee again, which at that point on Halloween, they should be fully healthy. They play the Jets, the Jaguars. I mean, we're getting to an easier part of the schedule. We're not playing against the Seahawks, even though the record's not great. They're still a really good team. We're not playing against them. We're not playing against the Rams. We're not playing those teams anymore. We're done with those guys. So, in my opinion, you rest Carson Wentz, you let his ankles get better, and then you bring him back in when he's fully healthy. Hopefully, the offensive line is healthy at that point, and you can keep Carson healthy. So that's my opinion on that. I'll go to some of the comments real quick, and then we'll go through the games. And I will be taking that as a segment in the video for tomorrow. I'm going to cut that part and put it as its own video. So, that way more people who didn't check out the live stream, they can check out our thoughts on that. And I might do that with certain topics too. But let's go to some of the comments real quick. Al Fox says, no, we should just do a run game with JT. Carson has the better arm and is overall better quarterback. I agree. Has the better arm. He makes the better throws. I think Eason has just about as strong of an arm, or stronger, in all honesty. But Carson's better when it comes to throwing the football. And the mobility is something he offers too. But I'm just saying, with that offensive line, it's not healthy. It's honestly probably going to be weaker than it's ever been this upcoming Sunday. I think you sit Carson and run the ball. That's what that's your motto. And with the Tennessee game, the thing that just confused me was Jonathan Taylor was averaging 6.4 yards a carry. You know how many carries he had in that game?
It was something around what was it, like 9, 10?
It was 10 carries. And he was getting better as the game progressed. And then we decided, they're changing their defense up a little bit. Let's not run anymore. Nyheim Hines was doing well too. So it's like, run the ball. Miami's run defense is not that great. That's something you can take advantage of. I think you can win by running the football. Just control the ball, control time of possession, and run the ball. That's your motto. That's what your team is built to do. Run the ball, and I think you'll be fine. So I think you could start Eason, run the ball, let Eason throw it a little bit. This is the perfect team to do it against.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll take like a lot of points to even beat Miami. Like, you might be able to eke out a victory with like a 20 points, maybe like 17, because their offense is missing Tua. Jacoby Brissett, he's good, but can he put up the points like he wants to? Right. And I don't know. Devontae Parker's been having a really good year. But other than that, like, Gesicki's been out of the passing game. Will Fuller hasn't found his legs yet. Like, this is a good time to put in Jacob Eason and just tell him and run the ball, get those points on the ground, control the time of possession, and could be a victory, because you're not going to go out there and have to ask Jacob Eason to do too much. You just do just enough to win.
Right. And I'll be honest right now, if Carson Wentz is similar to what he was this Sunday as far as health, we will lose if you start him. We will absolutely lose, because you're taking away the mobility, and he won't run. And that's good that he doesn't run with the ball, because his ankles are so screwed up. Like, that's smart of him, that he's just throwing the ball away. But, yeah, you're going to lose if you start an injured Carson Wentz, like how injured he was. You're going to lose for sure. Like, I'll tell you right now, we will absolutely lose. When I'm on Bring the Juice's channel, and if they announce Carson Wentz is playing, if he looks similar to what he does, I'll say it right there. We will lose the game. That's just how I feel. But we'll find out. Jonathan Peck says, what do you think of Liberty's Malik Willis or Ole Miss's Matt Corral or Sam Howell? I love Matt Corral. I absolutely love him. I think he's the best player in the country right now in college. He's the best quarterback right now for Ole Miss. I mean, he's awesome. And Sam Howell, I like Sam Howell. He's not having as good of a year, but they lost a lot of people this year at North Carolina. So, yeah, he's still doing pretty good. And then Malik Willis, I do like Malik Willis. But, I mean, if I'm Indy and if I'm, like, not sold on Jacob Eason at all, and I had the opportunity to pick one of these guys to be the backup, I'm going Matt Corral. Now, for you, Alec, obviously it doesn't seem like Mills is going to be the answer. Maybe he will. If he plays a little more, maybe he gets used to the game, gets better. Out of these three, who would you want Houston to take?
So I've only seen a little bit of Malik Willis. I haven't seen any of Matt Corral, so I need to check some of that out. Sam Howell, I don't know what it is. He throws a lot of picks. He, I think, takes too much time to go through his progression.
Right.
But I don't know, man. He's got something in him. Like, when I watched that first game, even though it wasn't a loss to I'm blanking on who they lost to in the first game. But
they lost to Virginia Tech their first game.
Yeah, there you go, Virginia Tech. Like, even in that loss to Virginia Tech, I could see some good in him. Like, he's a quarterback that I would want in the future. My Davis Mills, I'll have to say more after this past week because I'm not really going to count that game against the Panthers. You know, he had until Thursday to get the whole offense under him. I think I even tweeted I described the play calling for the Texans as Bill O'Brien-ish because it was just kind of like run of the mill cookie cutter stuff that we weren't doing in the first two games. And I think it was, trying to keep the game, the playbook simple for Davis Mills, only coming off of maybe 2 days of practice, maybe. So I think after I see him this week, I'll have a better understanding of who he is, but maybe he's someone that could be a longer transitional QB where we can kind of hold off on getting a quarterback unless we really believe in them because he'll get us through some seasons. Because that I don't know if you saw the 2-minute drill before halftime.
Yes,
that was a work of art in terms of a 2-minute drill. So I mean, he's got that, and that's a hard thing to kind of get under your belt. So I want to see more and maybe hopefully get more of the playbook out there this week. Because if he's not if he's a little bit better than we think he is, and we can get someone that we can develop, I'm cool. I would love to get Sam Howell, but I'm not sure if any of these quarterbacks are starting now kind of guys, at least for this team.
Right, and honestly, if you're gonna watch Matt Corral, watch this upcoming game against Alabama on Saturday. It's at 3:30. That is going to be the test to see if he can continue to do what he's been doing. And they could have beat him last year. They could have beat Alabama last year too. And honestly, I think they're going to beat Alabama this year. I think Alabama has some weaknesses. Matt Corral is the type of quarterback that Alabama doesn't do well against. He's a mobile type of quarterback. He can move the ball. I think that's the upset. It's going to be Ole Miss's victory against Alabama.
I'll be cheering for Ole Miss. I will always cheer against Alabama. So
me too. For Notre Dame's playoff hopes, I will be cheering for them too.
Yeah.
But if they win Saturday, they're going to make the playoffs. They'll finish undefeated. Al Foxy says we need to win now because we will lose out of a playoff spot. I see what you're saying, but you got to think about the future, not just this year, but you got to think about next year. Like I said, if we start Carson Wentz, and if Carson Wentz's health is very similar to what it was Sunday, they're going to lose. They will absolutely lose. Maybe they can win because the defense might be able to contain Miami enough, but unless they run the ball a lot, we will lose if we have Carson as a starter. Assuming his health is like that. If he's healthier and he actually looks pretty good health-wise, then start him. But don't if he's as healthy as he was this Sunday. And then he says nothing easy for us. We cannot play ball. Yeah, I mean it's not going to be easy for us, but look, I think we can beat the Jets. We can beat the Jaguars. I depending on what happens, if Tyrod's in or not, I think we can beat Houston. If Tyrod's in and if Carson is still injured like this and the offensive line is not great, I think Houston could. I think they could beat us.
What week is that?
Week 7.
He's got to be out for at least 3 weeks. Week 6?
Week 6 or week 7.
He might be able to play that game. It just depends on his injury, I guess, because he has to miss at least 3 games going on the IR.
Right.
So
that is true.
So
who knows how the injury is?
Yeah. So hopefully it's not that bad of an injury in there. He's able to come back right off of IR, but I don't know. I probably won't hold out hope.
Right. Yeah.
But it's in Indy, and the Texans like to win in Indy.
That's true.
Ty will only have 3 catches.
Yeah.
But then when he comes to Houston, when he comes to Houston, they'll play him just so you can get a 300-yard 300-yard game. He loves the NRG Stadium.
That might be true. And then Wentz season says Reich named Hundley back up again for this game. I didn't watch all of the press conference, but that really
start Carson.
Look,
if it's Hundley.
Look, I like Frank Reich. I'm not one of the people that are saying he should be fired. At the end of the day, the players have to do what he says. They have to do it well. But there's things I've never agreed with him on. this is one of those things I just will never agree with him on. He doesn't have good experience at all. He's not a good quarterback. And at that point, just if you're going to start Brett Hundley, assuming Carson Wentz is out, trade Jacob Eason. Get rid of him because you don't need him. If you're not going to play him, then why keep him?
Yeah.
Like, get rid of him. Or when Sam Ehlinger comes back, trade Eason or put him on the practice squad because there's no point. Like, at all. Like, it just, I don't, like, I mean, I don't know if Ehlinger is even going to be ready to go this week. Be cool if he is, because honestly, I might give him the opportunity because he does have that mobility. As I have a voice crack there, he does have the mobility, that you would want, especially with this offensive line. So in that sense, go with Ehlinger because he has the same experience as Eason. But yeah, I don't know. Just get rid of Eason. It's stupid at this point if you're going to start Hundley. Like, I mean, you were going to cut Hundley. You cut him. I don't know. I'm confused. Maybe we don't know something. Maybe Hundley actually looks really good in practice.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, that is possible.
It's possible.
I mean, I got to see it to believe it,
Yeah, I don't know if it's likely, but it's
I don't think it's likely either. But like, I don't. If you're not going to give Eason a shot, get rid of him. Send him to a team that's going to give him a shot. Give him to Houston. See what he can do in Houston. I don't know. Give him to Houston, and I don't know. We can take. I don't know. Something. A draft pick. I don't know.
But Eason, the thing is, like, maybe they want to keep the trade value up for him. That's why they're not playing him. Maybe because they think they could get maybe a nice like 3rd or 4th round pick for him. It's possible.
I don't know. I just it just confuses me. It really does. I wish I could just sit in the room with Frank Reich one-on-one, no cameras around, and just be like, hey, what's going on with Jacob Eason?
Yeah.
Like, is Hundley really looking good in practice? Like, is he that good? Like, I don't know. And then what season all says they may be trying to see if they can trade Eason. That may be why this is all weird. Maybe. But it just...
Yeah, that's how I just said.
It's confusing. We'll see. And then when season all says Sam is going to be the backup and Eason will probably get cut. I wouldn't be shocked at this point if Eason gets cut or, put on the practice squad. It's just confusing. I don't know. And then Al Fox says Houston's going to run all over us maybe. That could be true. Our run defense hasn't been that great this year. And then Jonathan Peck says Colts. Yes, Colts. And then Wentz season says yes, if he plays bad, it could devalue him. True. That is true, but I mean, I don't know. You got to see what he can do at least. I think, and if Eason does look that bad, just throw him on the practice squad. But who knows? We'll find out. We're going to get into the predictions real quick. I'm baffled by the Hundley thing, but we'll see. Let's get to the first game, which is tomorrow. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars heading to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Guys, let us know in the comments who you got winning this game. I'll go to you first, Alec. Who do you have in this game?
Bengals, 2-1 Bengals. Probably the best get they can get after this nice little run they've been on. They beat Pittsburgh. Excuse me. And I'm sorry, who did they play this past week? I already forgot.
They played Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pittsburgh, and what was their win?
And they beat the
Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings.
They beat Minnesota, and they lost to the Bears.
So it's a nice little run that you have, and to have the Jacksonville Jaguars come right after that to make you look even better.
True.
I don't know if we've seen the real Bengals yet. Maybe I think this team might be a little bit overrated in terms of how well they're doing. But it'll be good for them to get this win. So I'm going Bengals.
I'm gonna go Bengals as well. Jacksonville, I don't know what games they're gonna win this year.
If any.
I don't know what to win. They'll eventually win a game. I can't see them going winless, but
just Titans or
maybe
Colts.
The Titans. maybe Indy. If Brett Hundley starts, I give him a shot. But with Cincinnati, I don't know either, because one week They look great. One week they don't look that great, and then they come in and they beat a Pittsburgh team, and they look good against Pittsburgh. I know Pittsburgh's hurt, but yeah, I'll tell you right now, I'm going Cincinnati in this game. If I'm doing the same game parlay, I'm going big on Joe Burrow on the passing yards, and I'm going big on how many touchdown passes he gets. I think Jacksonville has talent on their team. Like, they're not one of the worst teams I've ever seen.
No, it's just I don't know. It's just the Jaguars.
It's the rookie quarterback. Trevor Lawrence. It's going to take him time.
I might put him more on Urban Meyer. I don't know.
And Urban Meyer too.
That's probably the biggest problem.
Yeah, Urban Meyer, and still Trevor Lawrence. He's a rookie quarterback. It's rare when you have a quarterback come into the league and they just dominate right away.
Especially number
Joe
one.
Burrow was a surprise.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. So, I'll go Cincinnati. They should win this game, and who knows? Maybe they win that division.
Joe Burrow's coming out party was last year in Thursday Night Football. That was and he kind of showed out. So he might like Thursdays. We'll see.
We'll see if that continues. And then Jonathan Peck, he's going with the Bengals. P.S. Please don't ruin Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, I'll send him to Indy. That'd be nice. Eric Gonzalez says for the shoe. Yes, sir. Al Fox says Joe's going to have a day for today with 300 passing yards. I think he can have more than 300 for sure, especially with how bad that defense is. So I definitely agree with you there. And then Eric Gonzalez says that Lawrence needs a little more time. I agree with that. He's going to need time to learn the NFL. And he acknowledges that, but he seems happy with where he's at right now.
The thing about number one picks, especially with a guy like Trevor Lawrence who who's not really been challenged in his career. He hasn't he's kind of been the most talented guy on the field all the time. So to come in the NFL, it's going to be a little adjustment period. All of a sudden, everyone's a little bit faster. The linebackers are a little bit faster. Everyone's a little bit stronger. So he's gonna have a little adjustment period. But I think he's gonna. He hasn't looked horrible. He's just not on a good team,
Right. And
we've seen worse rookie quarterbacks.
True. Ryan Leaf. But before he got into the NFL, in the regular season of high school and college games, he was undefeated. So it was going to hit eventually. He was never going to, go undefeated every single year as a starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. And he was going to struggle, but that happens with all the rookies. I mean, there really hasn't been a rookie this year that's looked all that great, in all honesty. So it's going to take time. But now we're going to move on to the next game. And then I'll answer this real quick. He says, who's going to be QB1 versus Miami? It's probably going to be Wentz. If it's not him, it will be Hundley, which I disagree with very, very strongly. But, we don't know. Maybe Hundley looks great in practice. Next, we're going to move on to the Titans. They're 2-1, traveling to the winless Jets. I think the real question this week is who's going to be on top of the interception leaderboard, Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson? And I'll tell you right now, I think it's going to be Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson, even though Tennessee secondary is not great. You are muted, but that is okay.
I'm going to agree with that. Probably Wilson.
I think it'll be Wilson. I think Trevor Lawrence will throw one pick, getting better every single week. So one pick. I'm going Tennessee here, as much as I hate to say it. The Jets, they're probably the worst team in the league at this point. Yeah. I mean, did you see that TikTok? And I'll try to find it real quick, of that kid who was just single-handedly just destroying the Jets and how they ran plays?
No, I haven't seen that.
So there's this kid who was on TikTok. He and I might actually have it on my Twitter. As a media. But he was watching the Jets games, okay, so here's this. Obviously they're doing this wrong. Now they're doing this. They're blocking their own guy. And then Zach Wilson throws a beautiful interception. He just single-handedly destroyed the Jets all in that game. I'm sure I liked it. It's got to be on my likes on Twitter. Where is it at? But yeah, I got to go Jets. I'll go to you real quick. Or I got to go Titans. Jets are on my mind. Who do you have in this game?
I want to pick the Jets, man. I really do, but it's gonna be the Titans. What's his name? I've really been liking how Derrick Henry's been inputted in the offense. I mean the passing game. He wasn't really known as being a pass catching running back, but they've been going to him a little bit more. They're not making anything too difficult for him, so he can get involved. And sometimes those runs after the catches are good for a guy like his style, where he can just get a nice little running start and blast somebody, So I like what they're doing. The defense is still bad, but the Jets will be just worse enough for the just a little worse on offense, so that the Titans are probably gonna have a blowout in this week.
Right. But here's the video I found of this kid. He just destroys the Jets.
Let's see it.
Play that sums up the New York Jets. This one has to be it. This Patriots winning off the edge. This Jets lineman is probably holding. There's a Patriot charging up the middle. No blocking at all. This Jets dude is being pancaked on the ground. We have these two idiots staring at each other like, yo, what are we doing? I don't know. Let's just stand here. We have 78 touching his own lineman. On top of that, we have two receivers with zero separation. And the cherry on top has to be Zach Wilson throwing this pick. And Corey Davis has no hops.
But yeah, he single-handedly destroyed the Jets on that.
Hey, that interception wasn't that bad. It was bad, but it wasn't that bad. If Corey Davis comes down with that, we're talking about how great of a throw that was.
Right, but it's just the whole, just everything in that play. Everything was just not good. But I'll get to some of the comments real quick, then we'll move on to the next game. Jonathan Peck says, Titans beat the Jets, LOL, Jets. True. Al Foxy says Jets win this game and Titans go down. I really hope.
That'd be nice.
I really hope so.
I love watching the Titans. So. It's always a good day.
That would be amazing. Titans will be 3-1 coming out of the game, says Dabney Offerman. Jets are hapless. I absolutely agree. Eric Gonzalez says maybe Zach could get his first win. Yeah, I don't think so. I'd be cool, but I don't think so.
I'd be happy for the kid.
Me too. Hey, you beat the Titans. Man,
it's a nice little win to have on your resume.
Be very nice. And then Al Fox says, "Wow, that kid should be the head coach of the Jets. At least a coordinator."
I like Salah.
I like Salah too. He should at least be the coordinator though. The offensive coordinator.
Yeah, the offensive coordinator.
Something. Let's hire the 12-year-old. It's better than whoever they have on the Jets coaching staff. But now we're going to move on to a matchup where I didn't really expect these teams to be where they're at right now. We have the Kansas City Chiefs at 1-2 going up against the Eagles, who are also 1-2. To be fair, I thought the Eagles were going to be 0-3, and the Chiefs I thought would have been 3-0, but surprisingly they lose 2 games. I don't think anybody saw them losing 2 games. I'll go to you first, Alec. Who do you have in this game?
Man, who would have thought we'd see the 1-2 Chiefs versus the 1-2 Eagles? It's been a very weird 3 weeks in the NFL. But I think this is a really good game to have after this past loss for the Chiefs. The Eagles looked horrible yesterday, even though it was only a 20-point game against the Cowboys. It just felt like it was more because of how badly the Eagles played.
Yeah.
And Jalen Hurts is going to drive me crazy in fantasy because I don't know whether to start him or not because he might look great and he might look not good. So I don't know, man. It's a really good game for the Chiefs to have coming off that loss. I think the Chiefs win, go 2-2. I'm not going to say this is the end of the Chiefs dynasty before it begins, but I think that it's going to get harder and harder every year.
Right.
These last 2 losses for the Chiefs, kind of surprising. And really, they should have probably lost that first game against the Browns. So, it's something about it's just they're not in trouble yet, but they should probably start panicking a little bit. But until then, the Chiefs are going to win this game.
Right. So yeah, you're right. They could be 0-3 right now, which is crazy. I don't think anybody saw them being in the position they are right now. It's just a weird year. Colts 0-3, Chiefs 1-2. It's weird. Bengals
I will say
2-1.
About the losses too is they seem to come on because of how bad this defense is. The good thing about Patrick Mahomes is he doesn't turn the ball over. but he's starting to turn the ball over. And
True.
whereas like his talent could keep the defense in games because the defense is bad, because he's turning the ball over, the defense can't keep up. So he's got to get that under control.
Right, and there were plays last year where he should have had more picks. Like he should have thrown a lot more
since his rookie year, really.
Yeah, his basically his rookie year was the one that he looked incredible, and then he still looked really good last year too. He just had those picks that were dropped. But I'm still going Chiefs here. I think they're going to win this game. They get back on track. It's not like they lost to terrible teams. They lost to the Ravens and they lost to the Chargers. And those are two teams. Chargers are better than I thought they were going to be this year. Yeah. They blew that game against the Cowboys, so they really should be 3-0.
And I think Herbert really wanted that win last week. He was so close last year, both times. Both games he was so close, and now that he's finally got that win against Patrick Mahomes, it's like one thing less that he has to worry about, and now he can just go out there and play. So I think he really wanted that win.
Very true. But, they've lost to good teams. Eagles, I don't think, are necessarily a good team. I think they got more to work on before they can become a good team. I got the Chiefs winning this game. They should win pretty easily, in all honesty. But who knows? Maybe the Eagles will surprise us in the win.
If Patty keeps turning the ball over.
True. That is very true. Al Fox says Eagles win this. Kansas City does not look good. They look like the old Kansas City group. Close game. Eagles 32, Kansas City 30. That could happen. The Dabney Offerman says the Chiefs will dismantle the fragile Sirianni-led Eagles, and it will be glorious to join some post-games Eagles streams. Yeah, there are some bad Eagles fans. There's some good ones, for sure, but there's some fans that make me want the Eagles to lose every game. So, but like you have Big Play Slay. I like Big Play Slay. Yeah. I like RB. There's good guys. Obviously, we have other guys too. You got Papa West. Yeah. Eagles fan. So.
I know like one or two, but yeah, I mean, Eagles fans it's like the worst fans in football are the Cowboys, and right behind them are the Eagles.
Yes.
both fan bases that complain about the other one.
Very true.
They're both just as bad.
Yep. Very true. And then Jonathan says Chiefs beat Eagles. Get well soon, Andy Reid. Yeah, that was pretty crazy to see him in the hospital.
Yeah, and that could help the team. Like,
true.
You see teams rally a lot in like situations like this. That emotional boost that they get.
Mm-hmm. That could definitely help. I mean, you look at the Colts.
They'll be playing for him.
Gargano had cancer.
Exactly.
They rallied together and went on a run. Couldn't get far in the playoffs, but it is what it is. But that still does happen all the time. But next we're going to talk about the Panthers and the Cowboys. Didn't expect both of these teams to be where they're at right now. I thought the Cowboys would have been 1-2 or 0-3, and then the Panthers I thought would have been at best 2-1. But I will go with the Panthers on this one. I think the Panthers are just miles better than the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys have a great offense, but yeah, I think you got to have more than that to beat the Panthers. I think Sam Darnold has another 300 yards or more type of game today. I got to go with the Panthers. Who are you going with in this game?
So this will be the first real test for the Panthers defense, because I think the offense is what it is, but the loss of Christian McCaffrey, no one's really going to expect much from them offensively, but the defense has kind of been the real surprise for the Panthers. And because of that, I'm going to lean more towards the Cowboys offense, just because I don't know if this Panthers defense is for real because of the talent that they've played so far these first couple of weeks. I'm still not a believer in the New Orleans Saints. I know some teams, some people will circle that as like a really quality win, but I don't think that the Saints were that good. So I think that first week was just a coincidence. It just happened. They happened to be the team playing Aaron Rodgers on his first game back, because Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like that anymore. So I think that win over the Saints doesn't mean as much. So I'm going to lean Cowboys, but I could be saying the complete opposite thing come next week, because if they do well against this really good Cowboys offense, I'll say that they're legit. But if Ezekiel Elliott can keep playing the way he's playing, I don't see why this offense wouldn't be able to beat this Panthers team if the Panthers aren't legit. Like I said, if they stop the Cowboys,
Yeah.
I'll say the Panthers defense is legit.
Right. So I just had to
I saw that.
somebody.
I was trying not to look at it.
I saw that pop up when you were talking. I was like, okay, let's block him quick. Let's get him out of here.
I kept looking. I was like, what's happening?
Right. I was like, okay, interesting name. But no, say hey. I mean, the Cowboys have a dominant offense, so you never know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the comments real quick. And Al Foxy is the only one who put a prediction in. He says Panthers win. Cowboys cannot keep up with the defense.
That's what I'm hoping to see.
Yeah, I want the Panthers to win.
I would love for the Panthers to win. I'm not a fan of Sam Darnold, but I'm a believer. I don't think he was as bad, so I want to see him. I want to see him succeed. I really do.
Yeah, said Jacob saw the person too. He's in the comments. What's going on, Jacob? All right, but Dabney Offerman says Cowboys Parsons. Oh, my pressure pulled up. And let me pull up his comment real quick and let that sit, because I don't know if I pulled it up or not. Okay. Dabney Offerman says that Cowboys Parsons will go off on the Panthers. Dak with 400 yards. Cowboys 33. Panthers 21. That could be true. I think Dak's going to have a big game. Honestly, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, in all honesty. I just think the Cowboys defense outside of Parsons isn't all that great.
Yeah.
I mean, they have some good things there, but
they got some nice building blocks, but yeah, they
And then Jacob says he's just driving home. There you go.
All right.
But yeah, I did have to block that person. He's out of here, so anybody who saw that, yeah, they're not. Well, they'll probably create another account, and then they'll be back in like a second.
Yeah.
But
some people have too much time on their hands.
I'm gonna block them as soon as I see them. And if we get to a point where we have, like 20 plus people viewing, I'll probably start adding more mods, and they can knock these people out before I catch them if they see them. But next, we're gonna move on to the next game. It is going to be the Giants traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints. I believe this is the first game in New Orleans this year. I believe now they're going to be back in New Orleans, so that's going to be pretty big. I'm going the Saints by a lot. I think the Saints win this game because it's the first game back in New Orleans. I think that's going to add something to the atmosphere, just with what New Orleans went through this year. There's just going to be a different type of energy, and, rest in peace to the Giants for going through that. Yeah, I got to go Giants or Saints. Who are you going with, Alec?
Yeah, I'm going to go the Saints. I do think the Giants are going to win a game, but
yeah,
I think it's going to be really tough because I saw their schedule recently, and wow.
Right.
I don't know where I don't know where their first win is going to come, but it's definitely not going to be in the first game back in the Superdome. Yeah, it's Saints, man.
Right.
Saints defense is is actually a defense I enjoy watching. I think they're dynamic. I don't know if they're the best, but they're definitely fun to watch on the defensive side.
Right.
And Jameis is always going to be must watch. Like he's gonna throw for every interception he throws, he's going to throw a touchdown.
Yeah. True.
So,
that is very true. And Jameis is just going to get better and better. But I'll go to some of the comments real quick. Wait, did Chris Day find his channel? Nope, he hasn't. That I'm aware of. Maybe he did. I don't know. A lot of people don't know who that is, and we'll just keep it at that. And then MLM Warrior says, "Wow, very true." Definitely. And then Al Foxy says, "Giants win first game this week." That'd be big if they can win for sure. I don't know if they'll do it though, but we'll find out. And then Jonathan Peck said, "I forgot to mention this on the Eagles versus Chiefs. I agree with Eagles fans. I thought the Steelers fans themselves are a pretty insufferable bunch." Yeah, Steelers fans are definitely they can definitely be a pain. But there's good Eagles fans, of course, but there's some that just drive me insane. Same with New England fans. There's some New England fans when Brady was there that just drive me absolutely insane. But nobody will drive me as insane as the Cowboys fans. Jonathan Peck says the Saints beat the Giants. And then Dabney Offerman says Saints 28, Giants 12. Now we're going to move on to the next game. It is going to be the Cleveland Browns going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Some would expect the Browns to be where they are at right now. Some wouldn't. While Alec is gone, I'll give my prediction. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I just think the Browns offensively are going to be able to pick apart the Vikings defense. And honestly, I think the Browns defense has really improved, especially adding Jeremiah Osua-Koromora. I think he's a great addition to that defense. He's playing really good right now, which, I mean, you ask any Notre Dame fan, they'll tell you, yeah, that guy, JOK, he's the real deal. I can't see the Vikings, especially if they don't have Dalvin Cook, which I think he's playing this week. But if they don't have him, there's no way the Vikings win that game. But then again, I didn't think there was a chance that the Vikings were going to beat the Seahawks, but they ended up beating the Seahawks. So I'm going Browns. I think it's going to be a big win for Cleveland. Now I'm going to go to Alec. Alec, who do you have in this one?
Sorry about that. Had a bathroom emergency for my son. Browns Vikings. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna go Browns. I'm gonna lean Browns, but I really liked what I saw from this Vikings team last week, and I want to kind of see them continue on that. Kirk Cousins has looked pretty good this year. They got that dude KJ Osborne, Justin Jefferson. The defense is not where we thought it would be, whereas the Browns, I think that defense is probably further along than we thought they would be. 4.5 sacks. I know it was against the Bears, but still, that's a lot of sacks. And Myles Garrett is constantly a threat on that line. But they, like Jonathan said, they're both. He's great. They're great on both sides of the ball. So, I'm gonna go. Barring an injury to OBJ, I'll probably go. I'm gonna go Browns.
Okay. Did you see the Jalen Reagor and the fan thing? Where the fan said, if you get 13 or more fantasy points, I'll buy you a Big Mac. And he said, wow, you suck. And then Jalen Reagor went off on him. He's like, drop your address.
Yes.
All you fans want to talk so much, I'll knock you out. And then the guy responds, man, relax. You're not going to get a Big Mac if you're talking to me like that. That was my favorite response ever. You can't do that, Jalen Reagor. You can't do that.
When athletes respond to fans. Like,
I'm fine with it. It's just you can't respond like that.
I just don't want. That's the problem with responding. If you're like, if you're just always in, especially if you're gonna get hurt about something that someone says, because that wasn't even the worst thing we've seen.
No.
Something said to a celebrity or an athlete, like that wasn't that bad. He went off like that. You should probably stay off of social media for a little bit.
Right. Now I do like how Shannon Sharp will go at fans if they comment, be like, dude, you talk about LeBron so much, and he goes, yeah, and I bet I make more money than you'll ever make in your life with just one single paycheck. I like it when he goes after. It's funny.
I haven't been on the opposite end of a Shannon Sharp, but I have been on the opposite end of a Shannon Sharp fan.
Yeah.
Or a Shannon Sharp / Lakers fan, because it was they were talking about LeBron and the Lakers, and he mentioned every single reason why the Lakers shouldn't be good this year. Then he was like, but I'm still riding with the Lakers. I think the Lakers are still going to go to the championship. I was like, okay, so all the evidence points to one thing, but your analysis says go with the Lakers. Gotcha. Yeah. And so his fans attack me.
Right. I mean, if they go to the NBA Finals, it's fine. They're going to lose to the Chicago Bulls anyway. But then we're going to go to
Houston Rockets.
Chicago
going to be starting
Bulls.
4 rookies.
Right. Chicago's going to win it all. Browns beat Vikings, says Jonathan. Browns are great in both sides of the ball. True, their defense is surprisingly really good this year. Al Foxy says Vikings win. Cook is going to have a great game. Vikings 28, Browns 21. Dabney Offerman.
If Cook is fully healthy, you hope he is.
Right. True. But
Dabney Offerman says it would be so awesome if these AFC versus NFC matchups bear some fruit for the Colts in the form of some AFC shocker upsets, AFC losses, is also what Dabney Offerman says. Now we're going to move on to the next game. And it's going to be the Detroit Lions versus the Chicago Bears. Could Matt Nagy be fired after this game? We're going to find out. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, you never know. I guess we'll find out. I'm going with the Lions in this game. I just don't think the Bears are, I guess, good enough to beat the Lions, which is weird to say because the Lions are 0-3, but the Lions have been playing really close against some other teams that should beat them by a lot. I mean, look at the Ravens. Ravens had to kick a 66-yard field goal to win the game. Like, they just had to break a record to beat the Lions. You look at the Packers, they were playing close with the Packers, and then Aaron Rodgers went off in the second half and was able to get the win. And, the Lions, they made it a game against the 49ers. For me, I just don't think the Bears are good enough to take on the Lions and beat them, which is, kind of weird to say, like I said. But I think Jared Goff is playing really good football right now with Detroit. It's something, they're going to get that win eventually. They're just playing so close, and they're barely losing. So I have to go with the Lions, and I think the Lions win by a touchdown or more. I don't think it's going to be that close. But now we're going to go to the comments real quick before Alec comes back. Jonathan says that plus OBJ did a solid job last game. I expect he'll do the same in the next game. I think that's going to be the case too. And then Al Fox says Lions win, better team, and the Lions have a good quarterback. Lions 26, Bears 14. I could see that for sure. I think that is definitely possible. But yeah, I just think the Lions are the better team. Realistically, I think their defense will be fine against the Bears offense, and the Bears defense has been pretty disappointing. So yeah, I just think the Lions are better. I'll go to Alec when he comes back, and I'll get his thoughts on the Bears and Lions game. I'm going to move on to the next game though, so we can get this show rolling. And we got the Houston Texans taking on the Buffalo Bills. Houston has played surprisingly better than what some would expect, and Buffalo seems to be right back on track. For me, I'm going to go Buffalo in this game. I think Buffalo is just significantly better than the Texans. I don't think the Texans are a terrible team by any means. I think they're better than what I was expecting them to be. But I think as long as Tyrod Taylor's out, I just don't see Houston winning a game, in all honesty. So I'm going to go with the Bills. I'm going to go to Alec real quick. I want to get your thoughts on the previous game. The Lions and the Bears. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to go Lions, man. I really felt bad for the Lions this past week.
Yeah.
That was a heartbreaker, 66-yard field goal, and to lose it on that. Not even have a chance to try and score. I'm going to be cheering for the Lions, and I think they can genuinely beat the Bears, especially if Matt Nagy doesn't change his play calling. He's going to get his quarterbacks killed. So, I'm going to go Lions, man. I think that Jared Goff is doing a decent job.
True. Al Fox says Bears do not have offense, which is true. They don't really have that good of an offense. I mean, Nick Foles was caught saying that the offense isn't working, which is very, very true. Now, I'm going to get your thoughts on the Texans and Bills game. Who do you have in this one?
I'm going to do a Shannon Sharp special. I'm going to say every reason that the Bills will win, and I'm going to pick the Texans. The Bills seem to have really found their stride. They look great on defense. They look great on offense. Emmanuel Sanders, feeling like he's like 20-something years old again, having a great season. This is a contending Bills team. This is a team I think could give Kansas City a run for their money. Having said all that, I think Davis Mills is going to surprise everybody. We're going to run the ball, hopefully, and just wear down the Bills defense. And we're going to upset a team. I also think the Bills could very possibly be looking past us. We are what you would call a trap game. Mm-hmm. So I would love for it to be this week, and the Texans get the win.
Very nice. Sorry, I'm watching Alonzo Ball just sink threes for the Bulls. I mean,
nice.
He's just He's going to be great this year. He's just taking him. He's just kind of going, shoot like that, and he makes it. It's like nothing.
Nice.
He's just doing
I
it.
like Lonzo.
I like him too. Him, Levine, DeRozan, Pat
Man,
Williams,
I love
Vucevic.
Levine. Levine deserves to be on a better team, man.
and now it's a better team. So he did get
That's
on a better
awesome.
team. He did say, hey, I want these guys on this team, and they got him. You know, he wants that, and now he's going to get that contract extension.
They still got Vucevic too, right?
Yes.
That.
So, yeah, it's a power 5.
Nice.
For sure. Now we're going to go on to some of the comments real quick. Al Fox says, Bills killed Houston Texans 32-14. And then Jonathan says, Bills beat the Texans. So now we're going to move on to the next game. It is going to be the Indianapolis Colts traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins. I'll go to you first on this one. Who do you have winning in this one and why?
Man. All the stuff that we talked about today is kind of sitting in my head of like, you know, how if Carson Wentz isn't healthy, I hope he's healthy.
Yeah.
As much as I don't like the Colts, I like Carson Wentz. I think he's a good quarterback, and he doesn't deserve some of the hate he gets sometimes.
Yeah.
And the Dolphins have been a big disappointment for me, even though they're they got their win, but I don't know, that it just kind of disappointed me. I was expecting more. Brian Flores is one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and it doesn't look good. And on the plus side, you have Xavier Howard saying before the season even started that he wanted out. So yeah, man, I'm gonna go Colts. I think the kind of craziness that's going over there in Miami is going to affect them, and Carson Wentz can take advantage of this depleted secondary and not very good pass rush.
Okay. So obviously we have no idea who the quarterback's going to be for Indianapolis. Could be Carson Wentz. Could be Brett Hundley. I'm leaning more towards it's going to be Carson because Frank Reich thought that Carson, just in his condition last year, can win games. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think he should have been out. I think Eason should have started. It would have been Brett Hundley, but Eason should have been a starter. So there's that. Quentin Nelson might be out. Braden Smith is more than likely out. Kwity Paye could be out. Colts have a lot of injuries going on right now. It's not pretty at all. Their injury report, and I'll pull that up real quick and read it to you guys because it's quite large, to say the least. Their injury report includes the names of Quentin Nelson, like I said, Kwity Paye, which for some reason he injured both his foot and thumb, injured his thumb during rehab for whatever reason. You have Jack Doyle. Eric Fisher was on there, but it was a rest, so he's not hurt. Darius Leonard, ankle injury. Quinn Nelson, like I said, Kwity Paye, Braden Smith, Kari Willis, ankle injury. Antoine Woods, back. Rocky Sin, ankle. Mark Linsky, knee. Jonathan Taylor, knee. Carson Wentz, ankles. Mark Linsky, Jonathan Taylor, and Carson Wentz all practiced. FYI, they did practice. The other guys did not, whether they were resting or they had some injuries. The offensive line is not performing well right now. They need to be healthy and have time together so they can form a chemistry. That hasn't happened yet. The Colts' run defense isn't all that great. The defense hasn't played all that great in general this year. They played better last week, getting 3 turnovers. 3. But still, have a lot of work to do. Miami almost beat the Raiders. Jacoby Brissett almost clawed them back into that game by himself. However, Miami's defense is not all that great. Their run defense is not good. Their pass defense is a little better. Did I say this about Tennessee? I might have. But still, Miami's defense is just not that great. It's the worst defense we're going to be playing up to this point. It's tough. I'm going Indy. I think they win this game. But they're going to have to run the ball if they win the game. If they're going to go rely on Carson Wentz, they will lose the game, assuming Carson Wentz
still has his ankle injuries. But I'm going to go Colts in this game in a close one. I have them beating Miami and getting the first win of the year. Now I'll go to some of the comments. Al Foxy says Colts lose 21-24 Dolphins because we cannot get into the end zone. That is why we lose this game. Very true. They have an issue getting in the red zone or in the end zone, especially when we're in the red zone. We have an issue getting into the end zone. Jonathan Peck says close call, but I'm picking Dolphins beating the Colts. He always picks against the Colts, so not a surprise. Al Foxy says if we cannot get points, then how can we win this game? We run the ball and we control the ball. And that's how we win. That's how we're going to have to win this game, is running the ball. Like I said, I think Carson should sit if he's not healthy. If he has ankle issues, he should sit. I'm thinking about the future. Why screw with Carson Wentz? It's something I don't agree with. But, I'm not Frank Reich. Maybe he looks good in practice. I don't know. I'm not at practice. But yeah, run the ball. Take advantage of this weak Miami Dolphins run game like you didn't do against the Titans.
Yeah, and that's why I think that they could win because you don't necessarily have to score a lot against this Dolphins team. I think you can beat them. Last week, I believe, might have been the anomaly. I think the first 2 weeks were the reason they beat that Patriots team is because they couldn't put up points. Like they barely beat them. So I don't know. You probably only need about 17 points to beat this team if the defense can hold up.
Maybe. And honestly, I think if they would have actually ran the ball more often, they had a chance to beat Tennessee. Because Tennessee did not play good in that game. Yeah. Neither did the Colts, but Tennessee didn't play good in that game. Push Dolphins all the way, beat us too. I mean, I don't know. I think the Colts can win this game. They just got to run the ball.
Yeah,
Use Jonathan Taylor. This is the same issue as last year at the start of the year. You weren't really running with Taylor a whole lot.
Yeah, and that targets the amount of yards he's getting on those carries. It should be a lot higher. Like those carries should be way higher.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's a Marlon Mack thing. Maybe they were trying too hard to please Marlon Mack, and that's why he got like a season or solo carries. But I don't know. I think that he is deserving of at least 15 to 17 carries.
Me too. I think he should be running the ball more. Same with Hines, but who knows? We'll find out. Hopefully the game plan changes and we actually run the ball. Now we're going to move on to the next game. We got the Washington football team going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Falcons got their first win yesterday or Sunday. Congrats to you, Atlanta, for getting the win against a winless Giants team. Now they're playing against Washington. I'm going to be honest. I've kind of been a little disappointed in Washington's defense. Like, I don't think they're bad by any means, but I don't think they've been as good as what we were thinking. And to be fair, I thought Washington had the potential to be the best defense in the league. And they're not. I don't even know if they're top 5, which is really surprising. Like, they're still a good defense. Don't get me wrong. But I was a little surprised. This is tough.
Two bad teams.
I'm going to go the upset. I'm going to go Atlanta. I think Atlanta's offense is good enough to move the ball on Washington. Like I said, I've been disappointed in Washington's defense. I think Chase Young has not played as well as I thought he was going to play. Again, I thought they were going to be a top 2 defense in the league, potentially the number 1 defense, and they just haven't been at this point. I'm going Atlanta. Who do you have in this one, Alec?
I'm going to go the opposite way for kind of the opposite reasons. I think that the Atlanta's defense is going to be the reason that they lose. I think that, the Washington defense has been very disappointing this season, but their offense has been kind of like a little surprise. I think Heineke is pretty decent. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. And, you got weapons like Antonio Gibson and Scary Terry. Like, I like Washington's offense a lot, and they could probably be, if the defense held up, could probably be 3-0.
Right.
But I also like Ron Rivera. I think they're Washington is good enough to beat the bad teams. Against better teams, obviously they're going to have issues, but at least for now, this defense can be exploited in Atlanta. So I'm gonna leave Washington.
Very true.
It's a tough one though. Like when two bad teams play, you just never know.
Right. But yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Now I'm gonna go to the comments real quick. Al Foxy says Matt Ryan is getting the win again. The Iceman is back to make a playoff shot. Falcons 26. Used to be Redskins 18. Potentially. Jonathan says that Washington beats Falcons. The thing is, our front four is fine. It's just our linebackers and our secondary is lacking at parts. Saying it as a fan personally. True. I don't know. I just been a little disappointed, but hey, maybe they turn around. They become that top 3, top 2 defense like I thought they would be.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jonathan there.
Yeah, I think
Montez Sweat and Chase Young still look great. They still look dominant. It's just
it's so good.
there are a lot of holes in that secondary.
Right. Maybe I was expecting like Chase Young to be Defensive Player of the Year this year.
Yeah,
and
not
I don't
quite.
think he's that. Maybe that was what I was going into the year expecting. But I
don't blame you.
But we'll see as the year
Probably
goes.
Myles Garrett right now.
Maybe, yeah. But now we're going to go on to our next matchup, which is going to be the Seahawks as they travel to the 49ers. A little surprised the Seahawks are where they're at right now. I'm going to go to you first. Who do you have in this game and why?
So this is the tale of one team being better than their record and another team possibly being worse than their record. I don't think the 49ers look that good on offense. Defensively, they're fine, but at running back, they're starting to run short on running backs, and have played, one really good team and 2 kind of mediocre teams. So I think that the Seahawks are not as bad as their record is right now. Offensively, they're struggling for some, but Russell was finally able to get DK involved in the offense, so that's a thing to look forward to. And I think this Seahawks defense is it's not good, but it's definitely a lot better than I was expecting. So I'm gonna lean the Seahawks here. I think the Seahawks are a better team than what has been put on the field.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go 49ers in this game. I think the 49ers should win this game. Their defense is, pretty solid, and their offense is really good too. I just think the 49ers are the better team. Now I'm going to try to figure out how to add Jonathan as an ad or a mod. I'm going to make him a mod. I'm just making sure I actually spelled his name right. I don't know. Well, I'll do it later. I can see all the people I've locked though. That's cool. It won't let me do it on StreamYard for whatever reason, but who knows? We'll see. We'll go to the comments when they throw their predictions in. We're going to move on to the next game, though. It's a battle of 2 3-0 teams. It is the Arizona Cardinals traveling to LA to take on the Rams. For me, I'm going to go with the Rams in this game. I think their defense is going to be able to stop this Arizona offense. And I think this Rams offense is really, really good. I think they're good enough to score on the Cardinals enough to get the win. I think it's going to be a great game, but I got to go Rams in this one. Who are you going with, Alec?
I think the Rams have kind of proven to be the best team in the NFL so far. The offense has been so dynamic, and the defense has been really good too. They were given Tom Brady fits, and that Buccaneers team fits. Honestly, last week they kind of made Tampa Bay look like they didn't belong on the field with them. It just seemed like they were always a step ahead of the Rams. Of the Bucs last week. And this Cardinals team has kind of been like, I'm hoping for the best, but sometimes I'm not sure. I think it's a really respectable 3-0, but in terms of the two teams, the Rams just have it together more than the Rams have it together more on both sides of the ball than the Cardinals do. The Cardinals are going to have a great record, but yeah, this Rams team is just really good. I don't know. I'm not sure who I see beating them in their schedule. Obviously, they will lose, but it's going to be a tough one. I think they're always going to be a tough out.
Okay, so I figured out how to add Jonathan as a mod. So Jonathan is now a mod. I'm going to add the people that are on the show as a mod for now. But like I said, if we can get to a point where there's like 20 people or more watching the shows, I'll go ahead and I'll add more mods. But right now, I think 2 is fine for right now. And then Jonathan did pick the 49ers over the Seahawks in this game. So now we're going to move on to our next game, which is the Pittsburgh Steelers traveling to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Who do you have in this one?
The defense on the Steelers hasn't been hasn't been the same since TJ went down. It's surprising how what one guy can do. What one guy can do on a defense, and when you lose them, all of a sudden they look really bad. They haven't looked good since they beat the Bills, and even then that was kind of a tough win. The Packers, however, are getting better with every game. This is a really good win against a team that could be shown to be a legit contender in the 49ers. And when Aaron Rodgers finally got going against the Lions, he was picking them apart piece by piece. Right. I'm going to go Packers. I think that the Steelers have more issues than we were led on to believe about this team. Or maybe everyone was right about them being a sub 500 team. So I hope not. I'm a big Steelers fan. I love Mike Tomlin, but for this game, Packers.
Okay. So for me, look, I don't think the Steelers are as bad as what some will claim the Steelers to be. It's the injuries, man. They all go through injuries, and they got quite a few, especially in defense. They got important guys injured right now. So to me, I don't think the Steelers are as bad as the record shows. But with that being said, I got to go Packers still. I just think the Packers are the much better team, offensively and defensively speaking. And I'll say this right now. If I had any negatives to talk about Pittsburgh, it's Big Ben. I think we're at the end of Big Ben's career. I think this might be his last year.
Yeah, I agree.
He doesn't look the same as he was years ago. So, I think he was better last year. I just think it's time to move on from him. Either go with Haskins after this year or draft a quarterback. I don't know. Maybe they have a really bad year, and then they can land
like a
Malik Wills, Sam Howell, Matt Corral, guys like that. Spencer Rattler.
It's very possible that a Rattler or a Ritter or Desmond Ritter could be available in that middle round. That middle of the first round. So
could be. And
or something. We saw 5 quarterbacks go last year. So
yeah, and trust me, after this weekend, Desmond Ritter, his stock in the draft is going to drop pretty significantly.
Who are they playing?
Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're going up against a Power 5 team, actually, instead of a, not Power 5 team.
Yeah. He's probably going to throw at least a pick or 2.
Yeah, he was running his mouth. I saw. He's like, the Notre Dame fans are going to be quiet, after, a minute of the game. It's like, okay, bud. Okay. You're saying Marcus Freeman's there. Took him a little bit, but that defense is aggressive, so I would watch out.
But on the plus side, if he has a really good game against Notre Dame, shoot him to the moon. Might be the best thing that could possibly happen because we love us some talkers.
Definitely, but no, I'll be at the game. I'll be watching it. Top 10 matchup. We'll see if Cincinnati can keep up with Notre Dame. But we're going to go on to one of our last 3 matchups real quick. It's the final 4 o'clock game before we get to our night games. And honestly, you could have made a case that this could have been a night game at some point. I agree with the Sunday night and Monday night games that they selected, but we got the Ravens going to Denver to take on the Broncos. This is going to be the game where we find out if Denver is for real. This is their first test because they really haven't played anybody good this year. So can Denver play well against one of the better teams in the AFC with Baltimore? We're going to find out on Sunday. I'll let you go first on this one. Who do you have in this game and why?
I could be completely wrong about this at the end of the week or at the end of the weekend, but I'm gonna go Ravens because, like you said, it's the same thing with the Panthers. I just don't know if this defense is legit, but there is a very big possibility that they are legit, that they are as good as we think that they are. And if anyone, I think the Broncos have a bigger chance of showing that than the Panthers do. But the Ravens defense, Ravens offense has been really good. Lamar Jackson's still making some mistakes, but if he can make them pay with his legs, it could be a long day for the Broncos, or it could be a very close game. I'm going to go Ravens, probably slightly on another 66-yard field goal.
Yeah.
I'll take the Ravens by like 3.
I'm going to go Denver. I feel like Denver is for real. I feel like Denver is legit. I think that Denver should win this game. I think their defense is really good. And, we've all expected Denver to have a really good defense. We were all saying before the year started, hey, Denver, they have a top 5 level defense. It's just, can they get the quarterback? Because that's really all Denver needed was a good quarterback. And I'm happy to see Teddy Bridgewater there and doing well. They're dealing with some injuries, but so is Baltimore. But I think Denver wins this game. I just think their defense is good enough to stop the Ravens. On offense, I think that the Ravens, even though they look like it at the moment as one of the best teams in the AFC, they might not be. They might not be. I think the injuries are really going to affect them. I think they're on their 4th running back right now. So, yeah. And they got guys out on defense too. I think Denver wins this game.
I might not disagree with you.
When it
comes to them not being a top team.
They're good, but I think Denver can take them on. I think Denver gets the win here. I'm going to go to the comments real quick. Al Fox says Denver Broncos got an amazing defense. Then with Teddy Bridgewater under the helm on the offense aside, it's a clean sweep. Poor Ravens are going down again.
It's possible, man. They should have lost that game. They should have lost that game against the Lions.
They should have lost to the Lions for sure. I agree with that. But, hey, I guess they did say if it was a 68-yard field goal, they weren't going to take the kick. And honestly, he probably would have missed it. It looked like he barely got it, the 66.
It was literally just enough to bounce the right way.
Yeah.
So it goes over because it did hit the bottom of the upright. So 68-yard field goal, it probably is a miss. Probably just a little short.
Look, Pat McAfee kicked like a 70-something yard field goal attempt in preseason, and he had the distance, but it was just far right. It probably could have went for 80. He had a leg. And Hot Rod for the Colts in training camp, he was banging 70-yard kicks with ease. Mm-hmm. But, he doesn't have power, is what they say. Now we're going to go on to our Tampa Bay New England Patriots Sunday night game. Probably the biggest game of the week. Not necessarily the best game of the week, but the biggest game for sure.
Yeah.
Tom Brady going to New England. Will the Patriots do anything for him? I'm sure they will. How are the fans going to respond? How are they going to react in the game? What is Bill Belichick going to be like in this game? That is something I'm very curious about. I will go first on this one, and I got to go Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is much better than New England. I think Tampa Bay wins this game easy. I think it's, hey, Tom Brady's here. Yay, we like Tom Brady. And then smackdown.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be an absolute slaughter. So I got Tampa in this one. Who do you got in this one?
Patriots are definitely going to do something for Tom. He's only 60 yards away from passing Drew Brees in all-time passing yards. So they're definitely going to have something planned for him. In terms of story, this is going to be a fun game. Belichick wants to beat Tom Brady just as much as
Oh, yeah.
Brady wants to beat Tom. I mean, as Brady wants to beat Belichick, but in terms of talent-wise, they're not even on the same level as the Bucks. The Bucks are probably Brady's gonna have like a 6-touchdown night. It can be that bad.
Right. Hey, that's gonna be good for my fantasy. But
right.
I think it's funny that Tom Brady is gonna break the record for most passing yards against New England. That's awesome. I love it.
You can't write it. Like, you can't write this stuff.
I know, it's just perfect. But we got Al Fox in the comments who says Bill Belichick will destroy his former friend. I wouldn't say friend. Tom Brady and Tampa Bay. A big wake-up call saying that they are not as good as they think they are. Hey, that could be the case. That definitely could be the case. I thought it was funny that during the Monday Night Manning broadcast that they did, you had Eli Manning. He got inducted into the Giants Ring of Honor, I believe. And they had Tom Brady and Bill Belichick record a video for Eli Manning congratulating him for making it into the Ring of Honor for them. I thought that was pretty funny. But we'll see. And then Jonathan says that it has a Peyton Manning vibe from 2013 against his old team. You can say Colts. I was there.
Peyton wasn't always the quarterback for the Broncos?
No, he wasn't. Surprising, right? And I love how people say, "Oh, Peyton Manning, he likes the Denver Broncos more." Well, if he liked Denver more, he would have got his Ring of Honor or his rings for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, like he likes John Elway. John Elway gave him a chance, and he appreciates that very much.
I don't know about liking Denver more than Indy.
No, I mean, I think he likes Irsay more than Elway. I think they've really become close. But Peyton Manning would have gotten his rings, his Hall of Fame rings in Denver, if he liked Denver more. But he did in Indianapolis. Jim Irsay lets him fly around in his jet that he has. But no, it definitely does give me vibes. I do agree with Jonathan that it gives me the vibes of a Peyton Manning returning to Indy. But yeah, like I said, I was at that game too. That was
nice.
Such a different feeling than any other game I've ever been to.
Was them the beginning of it cheering and then?
Oh yeah, everybody cheered him.
Right back into we gave you your cheer, we gave you your ovation. Now back to business and booing him.
If I remember right, it was because obviously when he went out there, everybody cheered for him. They did a whole video thanking him for his time in Indianapolis. And then, of course, during the game, it was weird because I believe there were cheers going on for him when he was doing good things. And, of course, there were cheers when the Colts did good things. There were definitely cheers. It wasn't they were yay, okay, now boo. There was definitely cheers. But now we're going to move on to our last game because we are approaching the 9 o'clock hour here for me. And we got the Las Vegas Raiders traveling to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers. Who do you have in this one and why?
This is tough. And it's a divisional game, which makes it even better. Divisional game, both just moved, both just relocated. It's kind of crazy how similar these teams are, but it's the Raiders. I'm not sure if I believe in them wholeheartedly yet. I want to, but I don't know if I do. Whereas the Chargers, like you said, they should have probably beat that Cowboys team. They probably should have beat that Cowboys team. So I think this Chargers team is really good. Justin Herbert's going to be feeling himself after beating Patty Mahomes. I'm going to take the Chargers. It's in LA.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers in LA at home. I think that it's gonna be a crazy night. The Stars are gonna be there like they were for the Buccaneers Rams game. But I'm gonna say Chargers.
So, I think the Raiders are very good. I think the Raiders are a playoff team. I think there's a chance the Raiders will win that division. Their defense is playing much better than I thought it was going to. Derek Carr is playing like I expected him to play, which is good football. And they got a pretty good running back group.
there with Keenan Allen and Josh Jacobs. The offensive line needs a little more work, I think. That's like the weakest part, I feel, on the team is the O-line. It's not terrible, but they do need to work on it a little more. And the receivers are playing well too. Obviously, tight end,
He's sharing the wealth though, man. Like I've kind of been on the bad end of starting Ruggs and not getting anything, and the next week not starting him and losing out on like 20 points. So I mean, Derek Carr is starting to share the wealth a little more. He's having similar to that season that he had that All-Star. That MVP season that he had that 1 year. He's definitely playing up to that level.
Right, definitely. And look, I like Henry Ruggs.
Me too.
I like Henry Ruggs a lot. I think Henry Ruggs can do good things in Vegas. But, unless any other comments come up as far as their predictions and just anything else in general, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you all for joining us. I might bring on a guest next week to the show. I might do that. I might not. We'll see. I might have to I'm going to have to get a hold of that Wee Hoopin'. That guy, he's like a Ravens fanatic, but like he's like when you watch his videos, he is clearly trolling. Like he says the Steelers are the worst team in the league. He said the Steelers were going to finish last in the AFC North, and so far he's right.
He is right.
Who knows? But I might try to get him on at some point. It's probably going to be a while before I can get him in because he is quite popular. It'd be a lot of fun to have him on. But I might get Bring the Juice people. I might get them on the stream. Get Derek on the stream. Have a little fun. Maybe get JDW. Maybe we can get Big Play Slay in here. As he's approaching that 1,000 subscriber mark, which good for him. Very, very happy.
Nice.
I think that's going to do it, though. Thank you all for joining the stream. Thank you all for joining in, having a lot of fun with us, just commenting. Thank you, Al Foxy, for being on here. It is always fun when you are in the comments, and we do appreciate you chiming in all the time. So for Alec and myself, thank you for watching. Now we have to listen to myself talk as we close out. Ooh, I don't really like that. But nonetheless, here we go. Take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you watch one of these other two videos. They're cool. Also, if you're new, please click the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. I know there was a video. I greatly appreciate your support.